This is Eman Alhaj Ali, an English student at the Islamic University of Gaza. So today, inshallah, in this presentation, I'm gonna talk about how Shakespeare presents the theme of kingship in the play of Macbeth. So let's get started. So firstly, I'm gonna talk about a general outline about the play of Macbeth and how the theme of kingship was portrayed during the time of Shakespeare. So the first point is that Macbeth was written in the Jacobean period and it was tailored to please King James I. Secondly, Shakespeare portrays that by creating a complementary image of an ideal king, in the contrast of the true kings of the play and Macbeth. Moreover, Shakespeare asserts that a king is a divine figure, respected and virtuous. So, generally, in Shakespeare's world, the king was the root of everything. So, the kings were chosen by God and they were not accountable to any earthly system. Furthermore, King James I was like the king on the throne. When Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, believed that kings were gods. All right. Shakespeare's messages about kingship in Macbeth. So, what are the messages Shakespeare delivered while writing this play? So, Shakespeare clearly wants us to know that it's impossible to be the perfect king in this play. But how is that so? For instance, Duncan was respected, loyal, and trusting, but he died at the end of the day. So we know that in order to be a successful king, you have to bring stability for the society and to stay alive. And Duncan fails on doing that. The same thing for Macbeth. So he was tyrannical, powerful, and brutal, but he died as well. So we don't have a perfect king in our play. Both of them failed in their key role, which is to be a good, effective, long-lasting king. All right. Regarding the theme of kingship in this play, I have brought these four main points to explain this theme. So the first point we have here, Duncan trusts everyone, even those who are a threat to him. So we can see that when Duncan refers to Macbeth, who is like the reason for his downfall at the end of the play, so he praises him and says, "O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." And another point is that Duncan is regarded as a good king even by his enemies. And we can notice that when he says his virtues will bleed like angels when he dies. So this quotation is said by Macbeth, who plans to kill him. And another point here, kingship takes a mental strength that Macbeth lacks when he says, "All full of scorpions is my mind." And we have here the great metaphor, which I'm gonna explain later on. And the last point we have here, Macbeth maintains role through merciless tyranny when he says, "I'll make assurance double sure and take a bond of faith." Okay, so let's start with the first quotation by Duncan when he praises Macbeth and said, "O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." So we know that Duncan is a trusting and loving king, and here he praises Macbeth. So generally, a Jacobean medieval king would have depended on support from the other Thanes. So this glory and praise as a requirement in that era. What about the significance of the word cousin here? So a family bond indicating the close bond and loyalty Duncan feels to Macbeth. As for the word valiant in this quotation, so Duncan sees more than Macbeth's violent on the battlefield. He respects his honor and integrity as well. But how is that ironic? So this is quite ironic because Duncan fails to see this ambitious, violent, increasingly powerful man who is becoming a threat to him. Okay, now we are looking to Macbeth's reference to Duncan saying his virtues will bleed like angels. So, and this is when Macbeth deciding to kill Duncan or not. So even his enemies recognizing that he is an excellent king, he is universally respected. So his association with angels, as we can see here, reflects his position at the top of the a great chain of being. So it's considered right he is there and a sin against God to remove him. As for the word bleed, so it connotes desperation and helplessness, reflects the vulnerable position Duncan has put himself in with such a trust. Also, it shows how all of the society from top to bottom is begging to keep a king with these qualities alive. As for the third quotation by Macbeth, "All full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife." So, as a king, Macbeth is racked with fear for his safety. So, Shakespeare demonstrates the futility of power, and Macbeth lacks the mental toughness to rule. So every king would be concerned for their safety and security. Like Duncan, he should rely on those around him for support, but instead he pushes his wife away, kills as a friend, turns to the supernatural, which is the opposite of what King Duncan would be doing. As for the metaphor of scorpions, so it connotes that reflecting his anxiety and fear will drive him to death. So those scorpions are hard and robust. So there is nothing he can do to get rid of this paranoia. Um, and those scorpions are small as well. So Banco is only a small problem in the greater scheme of kingship, but he cannot get past them. As for the last point we have here in this presentation, I make assurance double sure and take a bond of faith, which is actually said by Macbeth. So Macbeth maintains rule through merciless tyranny. His violence has a progress from being a reluctant coward to murder of his friend, and now he murders an innocent woman and her child. So demonstrating the corrupting influence of power. But how is that ironic? So it's ironic because like this aberrant fate has won him the kingdom or the kingship, but now he believes he can control fate by killing the man the witches say will destroy him. Suggests his rapt sense of his own power and control, and this leads to his downfall. So that's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you.